Good afternoon from yammybtv. Sending loads of love to you as usual. Hope your weekend went okay and your Monday's not going to be too much. Well, it's going to be a bit better if you like. But it looks really gloomy out there. But where there's gloom, there's always a ray of sunshine. What a lovely weekend I had. I'm getting to know my son a little bit more now and the grandchildren. Hope to really be making, inroads into family life much more than I have. And his beautiful Mrs. Danielle as well. Just getting used to to how one could be a decent parent in later life, and I'm learning off a lot of you lot as well. It's fair today. I've fallen short. When I'm looking back over the months as well with my interaction and leaving things undone, when really I'm supposed to be the one making the move. You see what I mean? But so slow, not used to it. You see, and trying to do the best I can. So as a decent role model in later life, where it's always important, your son and your children and his children and missus and, anyone belonging in the family have got a shoulder there when they need it as well. Because many suffer in silence. Maybe a lot of youngsters as well don't feel like they haven't got the right role model where they can be really themselves and let the pressures of day-to-day life, especially when you're looking after a family as well. I've had to alter the way that I do things because I notice I drop clangers with my gob that I don't mean to say things, but in the way that you say it, it can be misconstrued. So we know that I was short of a few of those skills, but with the help of some of you lot, I'm kind of getting the drift of it as well. And there's many of you that have had to go through what I'm going through, but you have learnt and you've had more practice, obviously, as well. So I'll take your word for it. So shows now that some of the advices that I didn't listen to, where they tried to let you know certain things, but it didn't register in that nut of mine. But big love to my son, D, my lovely grandson, Elijah, Aries and Armani, obviously as well, my granddaughters, and his lovely Mrs. Danielle. We're all meeting up soon as well. Just pleased to let you know that. One second. Yeah, the boxing. Yeah, I was watching the boxing yesterday, catching up. I realised I was watching a lot of old fights over the last few months, and that Canelo, what a fighter. I'm telling you, I know the only one that's ever beaten him really was Mayweather. And many of the great fighters in different weights to the build up to super middleweight, welterweight, light welterweight, along the way where there's many great fighters, especially from South America. So it's a breeding ground, which I've always known as well. But there's loads of them fighting each other, and anyone can beat anyone if you get what I mean. But that Canelo, serious man. Like he doesn't take any orders from anyone, but just finds a way to get rid of you eventually. But Plant, what a boxer! I was looking back on some of his fights. He had a couple of fights beforehand, good fights as well. He had a fight with a South American. I forgot his name. It might have been Nuri or something like that. Anyway, but I was watching another great fight where he had the opponent down twice, but then looked a bit, silly. But his daughter died very young, sadly. Sad experience for him, but he uses it, gets in the ring, but only he knows how he feels about it all. But a great boxer will undoubtedly be back to win again. You can always tell when a man's beaten by a better man, and you see that what he's given would be enough for many other men. But there's always somebody better, much more skilled, if you get what I mean, and always got the reliance of the power in the end when they can break you down. But he gave everything he possibly had. He's probably got more there. But let's get round to it. Yep, that's the kind of stuff that's been happening. We're building up now to the interviews. Pleased to tell you I'm juggling it around a bit because, I need a couple of warm-ups. Well spotted, Nick and Russell Linton. Don't you worry, my boy. Mario rightly asking as well. I'm glad I hope I cleared a few things up for you, young Mario, as well. But we know what's coming. But we're going to do the first two, right? The first two interviews, constructive criticism, because I've got to learn my trade. There's no way that I could go up there and not make a few mistakes first, but I'm learning as time's gone on from others as well. There's some vital golden rules to presenting and letting people tell their stories, because remember, it's them, not me. You see what I mean? So this is going to be a different kind of thing now for the Yammy BTV, soon to be Uncle B, where it's not about me, it's about you lot. So we're going to move to that stage, and we're working on the first two, and I'll keep you posted on that. But The courses, bloody hell, the courses. Someone's mentioning the courses that you have to take inside. You know, we've spoken a little bit about the IPP. They've got this EPP thing that's not too much different. I think it's more for the youngsters. They've got more stranglehold on the EPP, so that if you mess up outside, you get recalled straight away. So I think the tariffs are longer without being specified, if you get what I mean. It's hard to get off the EPP. It seems to go on forever. The IPP scrap now. What a waste of time there as well. Many along the years, I've bumped into 2-year tariffs and you're doing 14 out of it. Do you see what I mean? You end up doing more than what the crime on paper is valued up to. And there's many that have had to suffer that. What good's that? And then, of course, you get round to the courses and many asking, do they do anything by way of help? And what an answer there. They've held on to many men precisely for sitting on those courses and probably being honest. And then you get someone who's going to write the report that spins it round all the other ways, saying that you've got risk factors in this way and that way and negative this way. But you're being honest. Now, me, I've had to suffer that fate and then learn that the best option sometimes is not to say anything. So, but what does it do for you in the long run, if you get what I mean? If you can't be honest with some of the things you tell everybody, you mention your girlfriend, not me personally, but, you know, different things. You say, oh, look, this bit, I went to see him and that. And then they say, that's a risk factor. And then they're going to write it down in there. And then that stops you from, you know, going there. But it also strangles you a little bit. So you're wondering, what was the point in telling you certain things by way of honesty about that life? Because you're using it in a negative way to present to the board, because the more you say, the more risk factors appear. So then sitting on those early drug courses, the raps, the ones before that, because I did the rap in later life. But, you know, the anger management, I didn't have to do that because my crimes wasn't orientated by anger to specified things. You remember, mine's fueled by addiction most of the time and full-blown crime sprees. So mine, I would have to do different set of courses, but the majority would have had to have done the enhanced thinking skills, the ETS. There was a name for it back in the day. Many men can go on there. It's very basic, really. But of course, I found tremendous help in some of the things that come up. You know, right, it sounds a bit funny with the 10-second rule. Always think before you speak and, you know, careful not to offend, and the basic things for you to move forward, the do's and not do's of certain things that are very basic for normal people, that they would know that already, but not so for certain prisoners. But just to let you know, some people failed the enhanced thinking skills, because that means if you fail it, but you don't score enough points with some of the things that come up and they're real serious risk factors, they make you do it again. Seriously. But what does it all do? Sorry, Cy Bennett, love you, boy. Got to get rid of that one for now. Sarah Dunmain, all the family up there, sending loads of love as well. But what does it do? What do they do? When you're going to be spilling out your guts, talking about real personal stuff, like I go on them courses and you got some hardcore, bigger criminals than me on paper, if you get what I mean, the ones that are in more in the spotlight, they have to do courses because you have to tick the boxes before you go on hearings. Especially for lifers, you know, 1 foot wrong and, you know, that whole hearing's going to go anything violent as well from a lifer. Think about that. And also, I'm learning, pleased to tell you, that I used to kind of, you know, men have got families and grandchildren and daughters and they have to worry about in prison. I never really had that in the forefront of my mind, but now I could see that it'd be a deterrent in a good way for some men in there, you know, because you don't want to get into trouble. But I used to look at them as a bit weaker, you know, with my brain set as it was. You're thinking, oh, he hasn't got the bottle really, but really he's holding back because he doesn't want to lose that. You know, they're more important to that guy doing his time, his son and the grandkids, more than the prison politics kind of thing. So I'm looking at it more now. They were braver and stronger to have not got involved. You know, interesting that I should find out that in later life as well. The more things you've got to worry about responsibility wise, I take my hat off to some of you men, because I realize now that it's a lot of work, and I'm working on mine, but I'm learning very quickly about the language that one speaks or gets used to in there. Out here, it's a different set of languages, and people are not going to, they'll pick up on too many different things when I say things, because I'm so used to saying that kind of thing in jail, if you get what I mean. But no, I used to sit on them courses going, hello, good. And they used to nudge me. Certain geezers say, Yammy, don't let them know. They're going to use it against you. So they say barely enough without exposing any risk factors. But in the long run, where would it get them? Because, sometimes we've got to acknowledge that we need help. But my view of them courses, they probably were better equipped than me, because the stuff that can be written about you after you've let out, you have a one-to-one meeting and you're explaining sad stuff, and your mother and all kind of things, your siblings, and you haven't been, you got mad over this bit and that bit, but then they'll write it down. Oh, he told me that he got mad. Do you see what I mean? But really, I was saying that I had control over that, because you didn't say that I got mad, but I didn't do what I was thinking of. So the risk factor is actually lower with dealing with that, but you're going to write down. It all depends on who you sit in front of. So who's writing it as well, and what a life, because other people are holding the key to your freedom, and if they're not very equipped at it, which we found out in later life as well, judges, barristers, solicitors, everybody combined together. Some of them are not what it says on the jar lid. It has to be said. They get found out. So you learn not to kind of trust the system, the way that it's designed to keep you locked away until you're absolutely perfect, so in their eyes, and then you go out, and then what? Oh, and you remember, I got recalled a couple of times for things that it wasn't me. Do you see what I mean? And then you got to sit there crying your eyes out, because there's not a worse feeling in life where it's like you feel like it's unjustified, especially when you're used to pleading guilty and taking in what you've done wrong and accepting. I feel it for the ones that ain't done nothing, who are not guilty of stuff, but nobody listens. They're just going to go by what they've got in front of them. Oh, yes, I understand that, sir, but we're not talking about that today, kind of thing. But no, I'm going to be more on that. I've had a little babble, a little talk. Glad to be back up today, but just letting you know, we'll do more on those courses as well. Because I'm of the belief, really, that what do they do? And it's designed as well. Oh, he's being smart. They know that certain people are being cagey by the questioning and the input and the format of how they set out the courses. So you're going to have the top psychologists of the prison looking at it. Yeah, but he hasn't really. It's not facts, kind of thing. So is it better not to say anything sometimes, rather than let out all the honesty, so that you try and get the help? But in my experiences so far, it's left me feeling like I've had egg on my face, and then you withdraw, obviously, from the system and what it's meant to do by way of help. Many men are struggling in there. Back up soon, all right? I love you dearly, all of you.